In this video, you'll learn how to create a remix using free software that works on Windows, Mac, and Chromebook. And this process works great for kids grades 3 through 12. And once you learn this process, you'll be able to immediately implement it in your classroom. This is Eric Howe, and welcome to Mix Major Teacher TV. If you're interested in learning music technology so you can empower children with musical creativity, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell because I put out new videos on this channel every 2 weeks on Mondays. In this video, I'll talk about remixes and why they're such a great tool for teaching music production, especially on the beginner level. Then I'll walk you through a tutorial on how to create a remix, and you can use this process with your students, and it works great with kids grades 3 through 12. For this tutorial, you'll be using Bandlab. It's a free digital audio workstation software that's web-based, so all you'll need is a computer with an internet connection, that's Windows, Mac, or Chromebook, some headphones or speakers, and an email account to create your Bandlab account if you haven't done that already. So this is the second Bandlab tutorial in this series. If you haven't already, I suggest watching the first one and you'll get more out of this tutorial. So if you're ready to get started, let's go. First, let's talk about remixes. What's a remix? A remix is a different version of a song that's already been made. In many cases, the a cappella of the original song will stay the same, but the beats and the music have changed. This is the type of remix that you'll be learning how to make today. Remixing is a great way to learn music production, especially early on in the process. Why? Because the original song gives you structure to work within, and you can use this structure as a roadmap for your own production. At the same time, you end up practicing bigger level composition skills in controlling energy, mood, and flow. In my opinion, it's these bigger level composition skills that students should learn first. How to combine beat loops with chord loops and percussion loops to create and control energy, mood, and flow. They'll eventually progress to writing their own melodies, their own chord progressions, and making their own beats. And by the time they get to that point, they'll know exactly what to do with them since they'll have practice already in composition. And as an added benefit, if kids are remixing songs that they already know and like, they are going to be engaged in the learning process. So this big to small approach will keep kids engaged the entire way and motivated regardless of their level of musical training. So now that we've got remixes covered, let's get into the tutorial. In this tutorial, you'll accomplish the following. First, you'll set up a blank remix project containing only an a cappella. You can use this project with your students. Then you'll learn how to create a remix using audio loops. This is the same process I use with my beginner level students. This process requires no musical training and requires no music production experience. You'll learn on Bandlab for education, so if you haven't already, go to edu.bandlab.com and create an account. And once you've done that, click on Create and click on Start Personal Project. This will lead you to Bandlab's DAW interface called the Mix Editor. You'll see options here for creating your first track, and the first track should be whatever a cappella you've chosen for your remix. So we need to find an a cappella. So let's leave Bandlab right here and find one. Where do we find a cappellas? Well, studio quality a cappellas of popular songs are actually very difficult to find if you're going to download them without breaking copyright laws. Most record labels don't release a cappella versions for public consumption, so you'll see almost no options to purchase or download a cappella versions on stores like iTunes or Amazon. What you will see are a cappella cover versions of popular songs. In these versions, you hear the song sung by someone other than the original artist. You can purchase and download these legally, and you can use them in your music production and in your classrooms. So just a word about copyright. If you do happen to get an a cappella and make a remix, if you publish it on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or SoundCloud, just be ready for that to get taken down if the record label decides that they don't want you to keep it up. To find a cappellas on Amazon, you can go to Amazon.com, click on digital music, and then type in the keywords a cappella, hits, and BPM. The keywords hits and BPM will help narrow your search to what's more relevant. If you simply enter a cappella, you'll see a lot of results that just don't fit. The idea is to find a cappellas of popular songs that your students already know and like, and that's the reason for using the keyword hits. BPM stands for beats per minute, which I found to be tagged to the a cappellas that seem to be made for remixing, like a lot of these songs here. And once you see your results, it's a good idea to sort by album. You'll find that as you listen to these a cappella versions, you probably won't like them nearly as much as the original. And in fact, you can pretty much guarantee that. But if you search around, you should find some that are good enough to work with. You may get some pushback from your students since they're used to hearing the song in its original form, but I believe the upside outweighs the downside in using these versions if you find an a cappella that's good enough. I'll go to this album, which contains covers of hit songs that came out in 2018, and I'll choose The Middle, which was a big pop hit this year. Many students from elementary, middle, and all the way through high school will know this song. I can listen to this version by clicking here.
So why don't you just leave me in the middle, in the middle?
If you're familiar with the original version of this song, you'll notice that the tempo of this a cappella is much faster than the original 107 beats per minute tempo. The creators of this a cappella did this most likely with the intention of making it easier for remixers to produce in genres like EDM, house, or up-tempo pop. If you ever want to find out the original tempo and key of a song, you can do it on a site like tunebat.com. You can see that the original song is in G major, and the original tempo is 107 beats per minute. So once you find your song and purchase it, make sure you click on Download Purchases, and then find the a cappella in your Amazon song library. On a Mac, you can go to your Amazon Music folder and search for the name of the song in that folder. Now let's go back to Bandlab and click on Import Audio MIDI, and select our file, click Open, and it will open in the mix editor. The next step is to rename your project, then save it. For the naming convention, I like to use the key that the project is going to be written in, as well as the relative major or minor. Click Save. Next, you'll want to set the tempo to match the a cappella. In this case, this is 129 beats per minute, so I'm just going to click here and hit Enter. It's going to ask me if I want to adjust the audio regions. We don't want to adjust the regions because we are only adjusting the tempo to match the audio. Next, it's a good idea to turn the metronome on. You can either click up here or type M to toggle it on and off. Then place the playhead at the beginning of the project, hit play, and see if the a cappella is now in time with the project.
Take a seat, right over there, sit on the step, let you go.
And you'll want to check the beginning, some places in the middle, and at the end.
This is so broken, how did we get into this mess? I'm just a little, so why don't you...
So now that we have the a cappella aligned with the grid of the project, then we can move on. Now it's a good idea to set the key of the project explicitly here. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to select G major. So what this means is that when we add any additional music from this point forward, those loops will all fit into the G major scale. And at this point, I think it's a good idea to adjust the tempo of the project to the original tempo of the song. So if I type here and I type 107 beats per minute, now it's going to ask me if I want to adjust, and this time I will click Adjust. Now when I play the project, everything will be at 107 beats per minute.
Take a seat, right over there, sit on the stairs.
The next step is to split the a cappella up into its different sections. These sections include the verses, pre-choruses, choruses, and the bridge. Splitting the a cappella up into sections like this will help create a visual roadmap of the song's structure, and this roadmap is what we'll follow in creating the remix. To do this, we need to identify the different sections of the song in the a cappella, then split the a cappella accordingly. So let's start off with the beginning of the first verse and identify when that verse ends.
Take a seat, right over there, sit on the stairs, stay or leave. The cabinets are bare, and I'm unaware of just how we got into this mess. Got so aggressive. I know we meant no good intentions, so pull me closer.
Okay, so right at bar marker number 9, this is the beginning of the pre-chorus and the end of the first verse. So in order to split the a cappella here, let's zoom in a little bit and also make sure snap to grid is enabled. The way we check for that is we can slide the playhead and see if it snaps to any one of these grid markers. And right now you can see it is snapping, so snap to grid is enabled. And if we want to disable snap to grid, we can click G. And when we slide this back and forth, we can see how it does not snap to one of these grid markers. For now, let's go ahead and enable it again. Make it snap to the 9. Then we're going to click on the clip and type S, keyboard shortcut for split. So now we can see that the first verse is sectioned off into its own 8-bar clip. That's 9 minus 1 equals 8 bars. If we double click on the title here, we can rename this verse 1. So this is verse 1, and this will be the beginning of the pre-chorus. You'll notice that I split the clip on the first beat, also known as the 1 beat of the pre-chorus, and I did not split it when the words of the pre-chorus begin, which is somewhere around here. Let's go ahead and play it.
So pull me close.
One more time.
So pull me close.
So to be clear, this is where the words start for the pre-chorus, but we are not going to cut there. We have to look for the nearest 1 beat, which is right here at bar marker number 9. At this point, it's very important for you to make sure that when you're splitting these clips that you're doing them on these bar markers, on these 1 beats. This is important because you're going to use these sections as a roadmap for arranging your loops. This is all going to become more clear as you continue with this tutorial. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and split the rest of this acapella up into the different sections, and you can watch this in fast forward. Now that I've split the acapella up and I am familiar with the original version, I can see that the arrangement of this acapella is slightly different. For example, after verse 2, this should be a pre-chorus right here. Instead, it's a blank space. Also, after this chorus, there's a blank space, which doesn't match the original. So it's a good idea to rearrange these sections and delete if necessary before continuing so that it matches the original. And we can use basic editing skills to move and delete these sections. First, let's copy the pre-chorus and place it where it should go. You can do this by selecting the audio, typing Command-C on Mac, then moving the playhead to bar 37, then typing Command-V. You can do this also even faster by holding the Alt key down while dragging and dropping the clip to the correct spot. By holding down Alt, you'll be creating a copy of the clip as opposed to moving it. Now that we've moved the pre-chorus, we need to make sure that the audio is corrected. We know from before that the pre-chorus words actually start somewhere around here, but you can see from the clip, since it's split right here, that the audio is not there yet. So in order to fix that, we click on the pre-chorus, drag the handle to the left, and right around there it should be good. Let's take a listen.
Man, no good intention. So pull me closer.
Perfect. This corrects the audio, but like I mentioned earlier, we need to make sure our sections are split according to the first beat of each section and not the words. For this reason, we need to split the pre-chorus clip here. Then join these two sections together to remove this split. Click each of these sections while holding Shift to select both, then right-click and select Join Regions. Now everything looks good. We have verse number 2 here with the audio corrected, and the pre-chorus starts at bar marker number 37. Let's finish rearranging this song by deleting this blank section and this chorus A section, then moving the rest of the clips to the left. Now the a cappella arrangement matches the original song, and we can continue. This is now the exact project you can share with your students. So let's keep a copy of this project untouched by clicking Save, then clicking Back to Library. Click on these 3 dots and click Copy Project. This is the blank project that you can share with your students. So let's leave this alone for now, and let's work with the top project in the rest of the tutorial. And let's go ahead and rename it so that we can tell the two apart. Let's open this project and continue with the tutorial. Since this is a beginner level project, it's best to only use pre-made audio loops. This will allow students to focus on bigger picture composition skills without needing to know how to make beats, write melodies, or create chord progressions. No musical training will be needed for the student to create a remix that sounds good right away. Let's find some loops to work with. You can find the loops by clicking on this button on the right or using the keyboard shortcut L. You can search loops in a selected pack or click on all loops to search all loops in all packs. To keep things simple, start by choosing a pack with sounds that you like, that you think might fit well with the a cappella. You can preview each pack by clicking on the play button. I like the way this pack sounds, so I'll select K-Pop Essentials. The first step will be to select a drum loop, and this drum loop will be the remix's main drum loop, so we need to pick one with enough energy to carry the remix. I'm going to select Cherry Beat 2 and drag it into the timeline. Then I'll move it to the left to make sure it's lined up with bar marker number 1, the start of the project. Then let's click the loop button on the upper right and extend this loop to go to the end of the first chorus. You may remember from the last video that music production can be broken down into 3 basic steps: arranging, assessing, and exporting. Now that we've arranged this loop, let's listen to the song and assess what we've done. It's a good idea to listen in the different sections of the song, verse, pre-chorus, and chorus, just to get a feel for whether or not the drum loop works in each section. And what I'm listening for is not a finished product, it's just whether or not this beat has the potential to carry the remix once all the other elements of rhythm and music are added.
Take a seat, right over there, sit on the stairs.
I like the way this drum loop sounds in each of these sections, so I will continue. Before I continue, it's a good idea to stay organized, so I will rename this track Drums by clicking here, typing drums, and enter. As we continue, let's think about how we want our remix to flow. In general, most songs with this structure have the lowest energy in the verses, with energy building in the pre-chorus, and the highest energy being in the choruses. To control the flow of energy, we should select music loops that fit each section. So let's find 2 music loops. We'll call the first one Music Low, and this will be featured in the verses. And we'll call the second one Music Medium, which will be featured in the pre-choruses. For Music Low, let's select All Night Chords 01 and drag it into the timeline to start along with the first verse. And let's click the loop button and extend the loop to the end of the first chorus, just like the drums. Now that I've arranged, let's assess. I'll be listening for 2 things in particular. First, does this music loop sound good with the acapella? Second, does this music loop have the energy that I want in this particular section?
Take a seat, right over there, sit on the stairs, stay or leave. The cabinets are bare.
I like the way this music loop sounds with the acapella, and I like its energy in the verse. Next, let's select All Night Chords 01 Alternative for Music Medium and drag that into the timeline, this time starting at the pre-chorus. And let's also extend the end of this loop to the end of the chorus. Now that we've arranged this loop, let's assess once again. Let's listen for whether this music loop fits with the acapella and whether its energy fits within the pre-chorus.
I know we meant no good intentions, so pull me closer. Why don't you pull me close? Why don't you come on over? I can just let you go. Oh, baby.
I like the way this music loop sounds with the acapella, and I like the way it increases the energy in the pre-chorus. So let's stay organized once again and rename these tracks. This will be Music Low, and this will be Music Medium. Let's find one more music loop that will be featured in the choruses. This should have the highest energy of all the music loops. Let's find All Night Chords 04 and drag it into the timeline, this time starting at the beginning of the chorus and extending to the end of the chorus. Now that I've arranged, I'm going to listen and assess once again.
Just let you go. Oh, baby. Why don't you just leave me in the middle? I'm losing my mind just a little. So why don't you just leave me in the middle? In the middle.
This music loop sounds great, and it definitely lifts the energy appropriately in the chorus. So I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to rename this track Music High. The next loop will be one that always adds energy to music, and that's bass. Since bass adds energy, we should start by adding it to the parts of the song that need it. And in our case, it's the pre-chorus and chorus that need energy. Let's find All Night Bass 02 and drag it into the timeline starting at the beginning of the pre-chorus, then extend the loop to the end of the chorus. Let's listen now and assess.
I know we meant no good intentions, so
I like the way the bass sounds in both sections, and it definitely increases the energy. We'll keep this bass loop, rename the track, and continue. The last loop we need is a hi-hat loop. This hi-hat loop will add another rhythmic dimension while also adding energy to the remix. Let's choose Cherry Hats 02 and drag it into the timeline, and let's line it up with the beginning of the first verse and extend it to the end of the chorus. Now let's assess. I'll ask myself, do I like the way this hi-hat pattern sounds along with the rest of the remix? And I'll be paying attention to how much energy this hi-hat pattern adds.
Take a seat, right over there, sit on the stairs, stay or leave. The cabinets are bare, and I'm unaware of just how we got into this.
I like how the rhythm of this hi-hat fits in with the rest of the remix, and I think it adds just the right amount of energy. So let's keep this hi-hat loop and let's rename the track hi-hat. Now we have a good starting point to work with. We have our drums, music, bass, and hi-hat loops in place, and now we can start carving out audio to refine this composition. While doing this, we'll follow the roadmap of the song structure and control the energy in each section by combining loops. Once we're done, each section of the remix will have its own character. Once we're happy with the verse, pre-chorus, and chorus, we can simply copy and paste the loops into the second verse and additional choruses. For the verse, since I want to start the energy low, I'll cut the drums out until bar 5. And I'll keep the hi-hats so that it's easy for the listener to follow the beat even without the drums. For the pre-chorus, I'll keep everything as is. The music medium loop and bass keep the energy going up. For the chorus A section, I want to drop the energy down a bit and create a little tension, similar to the original song's arrangement. To do this, I'll cut everything out except for the new chorus chords and the hi-hat. And since chorus B will have the most energy, I'll bring all loops back in at the same time. Now let's listen to this through the end of the first chorus.
Take a seat, right over there, sit on the stairs, stay or leave. The cabinets are bare, and I'm unaware of just how we got into this mess. That's so aggressive. I know we meant no good intentions. So pull me closer, why don't you pull me close? Why don't you come on over? I can just let you go. Oh baby, why don't you just meet me in the middle? I'm losing my mind just a little. So why don't you just meet me in the middle? In the middle, baby. Why don't you just meet me in the middle? I'm losing my mind just a little. So why don't you just meet me in the middle? In the middle, oh, take a step.
I like the way this flows overall, and right now I'm going to show you one extremely useful music production technique that I teach to all of my students. I call it subtraction, and this technique works best right before a section where a beat and bass come in. I'll use this technique right now before the pre-chorus. First, let's zoom in so we can see the grid lines spaced closer together, and let's pick a section that's 2 beats long and delete everything except for the a cappella. This accomplishes 2 things. First, it makes the vocals stand out in this section. Second, since all the drums and music were removed here, the pre-chorus will hit harder when the drums and bass come in, creating a more satisfying arrangement. Let's listen.
I know we meant no good intentions, so pull me closer, why don't you pull me close?
Now that we're happy with the arrangement in each section, we can copy and paste each section's loops into the other corresponding parts of the remix. But first, let's split all the loops for each section so that we can easily copy and paste. Now we can copy and paste each section, and we'll just leave the bridge empty for now. If you want to copy and paste multiple clips, you can hold Shift down while clicking each clip, then type Command C, move the playhead, and type Command V. For the bridge, let's keep things simple while dropping the energy. Let's bring back the music low loop, and then halfway through the bridge, bring the hi-hats back in.
Looking at you, I can't lie. just pouring out ambition, regardless of my objection. And it's not about my pride. I need you on my skin, just come over, pull me in, just. Oh, babe.
Next, I'll use the subtraction technique right before chorus B after the quiet chorus, and I'll also carve out audio at the end to bring the energy down. I'd like to give this remix a smooth landing, so for the last chorus, I'm going to remove everything except for music low, music medium, and the hi-hat, and I'll cut the hi-hat out about halfway through the chorus B section. Now you can see that with this subtraction here right before this chorus will hit hard and be very satisfying, and at the end, you can see that the energy is dropping out as we remove some elements, and this is what creates a smooth landing. And to clean up this audio at the very end, I'm just going to take this clip and use the handle to bring this in slightly so that this section of audio gets cut out.
So why don't you just leave me in the middle?
So there you have it. This is our finished beginner level remix. To conclude this tutorial, let's take a listen to the remix from beginning to end.
Take a seat. Right over there, sit on the stairs, stay or leave. The cabinets are bare, and I'm unaware of just how we got into this mess. Got so aggressive. I know we meant all good intentions. So pull me closer, why don't you pull me close? Why don't you come on over? I can just let you go. Oh, baby, why don't you just leave me in the middle? I'm losing my mind just a little. So why don't you just leave me in the middle? In the middle, baby. Why don't you just leave me in the middle? I'm losing my mind just a little. So why don't you just leave me in the middle? In the middle. Oh, take a step back for a minute into the kitchen. Floors are wet and taps are still running. Dishes are broken. How did we get into this mess? Got so aggressive. I know we meant all good intention. So pull me closer. Why don't you pull me close? Why don't you come on over? I can just let you go. Oh, baby, why don't you just leave me in the middle? I'm losing my mind just a little. So why don't you just leave me in the middle? In the middle. Looking at you, I can't lie. Just pouring out ambition, regardless of my objection. And it's not about my pride. I need you on my skin, just come over, pull me in, just. Oh, babe, why don't you just leave me in the middle? I'm losing my mind just a little. So why don't you just leave me in the middle? In the middle, no, baby. Why don't you just leave me in the middle?
I really hope this video was helpful. If it was, give the video a thumbs up and share it with anybody that you know that would like to impact kids with musical creativity. And if you haven't already, come join the Mixed Major Teacher Connect Facebook group. This is a great community for music educators and music technology teachers to collaborate and learn from one another. Next video comes out after the new year, January 7th. My name is Eric Howe. This is Mixed Major Teacher TV, and I will see you next time.
Look deep inside and you'll find it's right.